Hello, I'm Reverend Dr. Horace F. Whitaker Jr., and thank you for joining us here at the Thoughts for Living podcast. Today, we hope that you will enjoy the content that we've worked hard to provide for you. Here's this week's episode. And today on this episode, we'd like to talk not about all the lies that Trump stated or how Biden is aging. I'd like for us to think about what's best for the masses of people in this country by engaging in some underlying issues relative to our ecological context. But before we get into that, we would like to remind all of you to go to thoughtsforliving.com, where you will find our new children's book, We Are Humankind. We know that it will be a fantastic addition to your child's library. Also, there on the website, you will find information regarding episodes previously recorded. Also, you will find fantastic music there on the website as well. And as always, thank you for your support. The question that must be asked, rather than discuss what took place last night in the American Presidential Debacle, is what is the current ecological context we're living in? What does the current ecological context look like? Well, let's start with the political system. Today, at the national level, elites and multinational corporations pay Supreme Court justices and politicians to make rules and laws that favor themselves so that they have advantages and privileges the rest of us don't have. They want to stay in control. We also see this at the state and we see this at the local levels. Now, do you think corrupt white supremacists want to give up their positions and power? No. Because ecological consciousness theory tells us that social systems, this ecological context, this social system that we live in, just like our bodies, are designed to survive and repair themselves. For example, everything in your body, your respiratory system, your immune system, your circulatory system, your skeletal system, everything in your body is designed to keep you alive. And if something enters your body that is foreign, your immune system has what's called antibodies. And those antibodies are designed to kill any foreign invaders into your body and to repair your body. Well, we see the same thing in this system that we live in. This ecological system, this white supremacist system that we live in, is designed to survive and repair itself. Everything in it, homes, schools, places of worship, institutions, corporations, the political, the economic, and the social systems are designed to keep it just like it is. To keep those in power, and to keep those out of power, out of power. And when something comes into this system to try to change this system for the better, this system has antibodies that are designed to kill the intruder and repair and maintain the system. Now, let's be clear. There are a few wealthy people who work with organizations like Patriotic Millionaires and Millionaires for Humanity that represent wealthy persons who are willing, more than willing, to pay more taxes to benefit those who don't have material wealth. Now, the next question is, why are both candidates elderly? Since the murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, there has been ongoing support by the masses of young, white, black, and brown youth in this country and young people across the globe who are demanding a stop to the targeted oppression by enforcers of the law against black people. We saw protests across the globe, and we've seen similar protests and demonstrations against genocide being perpetrated against our Palestinian sisters and brothers. Young people across the earth, and especially in the U.S., have shown that they are against all types of oppression. In many instances, young black women are leading various coalitions who are demanding a woman's right to bodily autonomy be made law. That the nation invest in its young people with free public higher education, along with student debt forgiveness. They are demanding that we provide health care for all citizens and address maternal and infant mortality. And move Congress to make law to codify the John Lewis Voting Rights and Amendment Act. So we have old men running for president because the white supremacist elites do not want to share power, nor the wealth that all of us help generate. And they fear our young people because they have decided they want a world that is more free, that is more just and more equitable. Lastly, and we need to be clear, we have old white men running for office because the system that we live in also hates women. This system devalues women and children, for that matter. And if you want to understand that a bit better, just look at his story. There were freedmen's conventions held across the South after the Civil War, where black men gathered to demand equal rights and protection under the law and to petition Congress for the right to vote. These actions and others taken by black men and their supporters resulted in the passage of the 15th Amendment to the Constitution, which granted formerly enslaved African American males the right to vote in 1870. But the white man's own wife and daughter were denied the right to vote until 1920. Now, would you deny your wife and daughter the rights that have been granted to people you say are inferior and inhuman? What does that say about how white men really feel about women that look like them? For me, friends, that says all that needs to be said about how many white men feel about women having access to power, voting, and being in leadership. Now, don't be misled, sisters and brothers. This is not about Biden being old and fragile and wanting to portray strength and an image that America is strong to the world. No. If Biden had Snoop as vice president, last night would have been excused by those so-called liberal Democrats who are really posing as white supremacists. But because Kamala Harris is the vice president, they are afraid a woman could become president of the United States should Biden die. Now that's what's happening. This system hates women and really do not want women to be in charge. And the real American debacle is that Joe Biden has a black woman as vice president. If Snoop was the vice president, they'd make excuses for everything that happened last night. Because they then would know that at least it was falling into some hands that they think that they could deal with. You know, Barack's presidency drove them racists wild. If Kamala Harris was president, that's going to drive them off a cliff. You can believe that. So brothers and sisters, let's not get caught up in the nonsense. We all must vote blue. And as always, have a great rest of your week. That was interesting. As you can see, we really provide a different way of viewing the world. And we feel that's very important in order that we might come up with different ways of making our world more sustainable for you and for me. We thank you for helping us in that regard and would love to hear your thoughts. So please feel free to reach out to us at thoughtsforliving.com. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your week.